I stepped out from the lighthouse that I call home to see the first of the winter snow. No more ships would be cleared for entry until spring, when the snow and the ice was gone. This meant that my work for the year was done, meaning I had time to do other things. I decided to head into town. On my way down the hill, I was signaled by one of the guards. He told me that Burak, the captain, was looking for me. He was waiting by the gate. I'd lived in this town for many years, and these harsh winters never get any easier. As I approached Burak, I could see distress on his face. He began to tell me some minor issues that were troubling the town, but then his face grew dark. He leaned forward as if to stop anybody else hearing what he has to say. There was talk of bandits. Several bandit crews have joined forces in the Vendaval fortress along the southern coast. I told him that I would take care of it, and he should stay here to guard the town in the event of a retaliation. And with that, I left the town. My mission clear. I'd have to enter the Vendaval fortress. Not a stone's throw from the town, I saw a bandit patrol. Each day that went by, they seemed to be getting bolder. I quietly snuck past, soon realizing I'd have to find some wood to build a fire to stay warm in this cold weather. Whilst gathering, I heard the sound of a hyena, too close for comfort. I immediately stopped to go and have a look. There, in the distance. I could probably take them out from here, but I didn't want to bring any attention to my mission. Once again, I quietly snuck by and found a place to build a fire, with a cliff as a windbreak, just in time before the cold took me. This would do nicely. I warmed myself by the fire, just long enough to blow the cold out of my bones. As I was taking a sip of hot tea, I heard voices nearby. Luckily, I saw them before they saw me, and managed to give them a slip just in time. I had to quickly abandon my campfire, but I think I got away. I decided to slip around the base of the mountain, using it as cover. The bandit presence was much higher than I'd anticipated. I'd have to be very careful. Luckily, there seemed to be a chatty bunch. I'd always hear them before they heard me. Another two on patrol. I'd have to give them the slip. I decided to take a run up this hill to get a better look at my surroundings. As I got to the top, I saw signs of life. An old tent and what looked like a windbreak. Someone might be close. Luckily, no one was here, and this seemed like a good place to warm myself once again. That's when I noticed a supply cache. Someone had kindly left bandages and supplies to make a trap. Just what I needed. I'd have to build another fire really soon. The temperature, close to -50, means I will freeze very quickly if I don't stay alert. After warming up and scouting the area, I decide to head back down the hill. Coming over the ridge, I notice an alpha pearl bird. That is not a foe that I want to deal with right now, so I give them a wide berth. I use the trees and shrubbery to hide my cover. Coming up over the ridge, I see signs of life and civilization. This must be the fortress. Another supply cache. And a good scouting location. This will do for another campfire. Some guards on patrol, but nothing too severe. I should be able to make it. Using the snow, the trees, the shrubbery, bushes, I managed to sneak past all the guards. Unfortunately, as perilous as this journey was, the hard part was still in front of me. At last, I was here. Straight away, there were guards inside. I managed to convince them I was just here to do some routine maintenance, and that I had to set up this equipment to repair the floor. Luckily, they believed me. Little did they know, these were traps. A man who seemed to be a leader summoned me over. I think he's onto me. He told me I wouldn't be able to leave. I said, I will be leaving. At this point, he tried to stop me, but it was too late. The traps were set. All I had to do was lure him into them. He died very quickly, alerting his friends. They ran, also through the field of traps I'd set earlier. I quickly looted their bodies for supplies and keys, anything I could use. There were 3 bandit leaders I had to kill. One, I think, was the first man to die. That left 2 more. I'd have to look around. In my searching, I found this room with a treasure chest locked at the end. It looked to be a trap. Using some markings on the floor, I determined that this was the right rope to pull. Luckily, I was correct, allowing me to gather more supplies to help me in my mission. After regrouping, I decided to leave the room and head downstairs to look for the other leaders. As I searched the basement, I saw multiple people in hospital beds and somebody who seemed to be a nurse or doctor. They told me that they are, in fact, a medical professional, but they, like everyone else here, is a prisoner, and that I'd have to kill the bandit leaders to get everybody out. At the other end of the basement, I found a guard who was willing to help me. He informed me one of the leaders was up ahead. He told me he'd open the door for me. He warned me not to face the bandit leader in open combat because he was a weapons expert. Luckily for me, I still had more traps. This thin corridor would be perfect. I would probably have time to set my traps before he noticed that I wasn't someone that he knows. With my trap set, I thought I could go and talk to him, see if I can reason with him. Similar to the first leader, he told me that I would not be leaving this place. I disagreed, and informed him he can try and stop me if he dares. He pulled out his weapon. I sprinted for the corridor. The traps sprung instantly, killing him quickly. The guard shut the gate. No one would know what happened. At least not until I was long gone. This just left one more bandit leader. With only one more way to go, I headed upstairs, the top floor. I'd heard that one of the leaders was a powerful witch. I'd have to be very careful. I checked the lower part of this room for traps, so I didn't accidentally trip them during a fight. Everything seemed clear, so I headed up the elevator. There she was. Unlike the other leaders, she attacked me immediately, leading to a long and grueling battle. I killed her guards, leading them downstairs to fight one by one. Then, finally, after suffering a lot of damage myself, I managed to kill the witch. I headed back downstairs to free the prisoners before heading home. I headed back to town as quickly as possible, sneaking past the guards. I didn't have the energy or the resources for more combat, so I ran. Midway, I managed to find somewhere to set up a campfire to warm up and rest. I'd need to preserve energy if I was going to make it back. This ended up being the right choice, as close to town, I was chased by a hyena and a pearlbird, barely making it out alive. But finally, somehow, I made it home. Burak thanked me for my service and handed me a key to the town treasury. A great honor, I thanked him and went on my way. I visited the local Saborian merchant. He would appreciate the treasure that I'd picked up in the fortress. Then, finally, I headed home to the lighthouse for a well-deserved rest.